There is often a big push towards mobile first with product design these days. This is primarily because the inherent restriction from size constraints forces you to limit what to include. Essentially, the idea is it encourages designing and including only the most important parts of your application. This concept, of course, makes sense. We should be seeking to limit our products to the most important, especially when we first launch. However, I think we should do this regardless of the screen. Trying to achieve this by simply designing mobile may not be what's best for your user and not the best use of your time. Depending on what you are designing and building, a laptop or desktop computer may be where your user will most likely interact with your application. Even with limited features, the experience on a larger screen may rightly be very different than on mobile. The way interactions flow, what you show, and when. You have a lot more space to potentially do things you otherwise wouldn't be able to do on a mobile screen, things that might be considered essential for your customer. You should design first for where your user will most likely and most often interact with your product. From there, you can move towards designing for both mobile and desktop experiences. Ideally, you'd want both mobile and desktop users to have a positive experience that is suited for the medium. This circles us back to the importance of knowing our audience and their needs as it guides us in how we should focus our efforts. How did this apply to the Scottus Ravas site? My assumption with the site was that learners would most likely be on their desktop, computer, or laptop, as design and development work is primarily done on these larger screens. Thus, my focus of my initial designs is predominantly desktop first, with the thought into how to collapse designs for at least a decent mobile viewing experience. For my long-term purposes, this may be enough, and doing mobile first wouldn't necessarily be that beneficial. I don't want to ignore it, but it doesn't seem to warrant a highly tuned mobile experience in this instance. Design for what your customer needs most. This could be desktop first, mobile first, or both. Make the experience as best as you possibly can for however your potential customers will be using your product.